Only thing bad about tonight, Baylor in Texas at the 8 o'clock tip, and I saw somebody mention that. It may have been Paxton. He's rolling today. 8 o'clock tips are a little bit tough, but 8 o'clock tonight, Texas home against Baylor, two teams that near the top of the Big 12, and, of course, fighting for who might win eventually that Big 12 regular season championship. Ashley Hodge, Sic'Em365.com, one of the partners and also basketball analyst, joins us on 365 Sports. Ashley, 6 straight. They were 0-3 to start. Texas, of course, always means a lot, and Baylor's kind of had their number for the most part. Is this a bad or good matchup for Baylor?
Well, yeah, we'll see. I like the fact that it's two great backcourts. Texas that's really the strength of their team is they have a great backcourt, and Baylor's the same way. So I do like the fact that perhaps Baylor won't be seeing as much length in the backcourt as they've seen the last couple games with Oklahoma and Alabama. But, Texas has lost 7 straight, I believe, to Baylor. So I would think, it's a senior-laden team, and a lot of these guys have taken their lumps to Baylor in the past. Even Marcus Carr this summer, he played for the Canadian national team, and the Baylor team beat them in an upset in the global games in Toronto. So I think they're going to be have a little extra edge, and they're at home. So we'll see how they do, but Baylor's already proven they can win on the road.
Yeah, actually, I think my biggest concern for this Baylor team is that they've won 6 straight, and it's really hard to win 7 straight, right? Like even if they could, this is the one, and they go on another 3 or 4 game winning streak. Like it's hard to string all those together, especially in this league and especially on the road. I think that's the thing I'm most nervous about matchup wise. I think either team has their things they can say, but Baylor's on a run right now.
Yeah, they are. And, it's interesting because even during that winning streak, we have not seen a game where Flagler, Cryer, and George were all firing, on all cylinders. And if that happens, watch out. I think Baylor can blow out even great teams if that occurs, and those 3 are capable of having that kind of night. But it seems like 2 of the 3 have been on. 1 of the 3 has been off. And so hopefully for Baylor fans, tonight's the night where you see all 3 really put up great, efficient numbers from a production standpoint. And, Jalen Bridges is playing terrific. I know we probably talked about this on the message boards, but, he's the number 1 or number 2 most efficient offensive player in Big 12 play. I think he's shooting close to 38% from 3. He's top 5 or 6 in offensive and defensive rebounding percentage. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's really been the key to this winning streak, in my opinion. The play of him and even Flo Thamba, playing their roles to perfection have really elevated Baylor to a new level.
Yeah, actually, I feel like with every basketball person we've had on for the last week or so, has always got to ask them about Jalen Bridges and his impact. What do you think has sunk in for him? I mean, at the very beginning of, his start in Waco, there was a lot of grumbling, because they weren't exactly off to the start everybody expected, and he wasn't off to maybe their performances that everybody expected. But now it's gelling, and he's, as you said, a major part of this win streak. So what has gelled and what's clicked for him, you think?
I think it just takes time. You think back on the even guys like Davion Mitchell who sat out a whole year and practiced with the Baylor team, but it wasn't like he was just a great fit, or the chemistry just wasn't there right away. It took him 5, 6, 7 games into that season before things just started really clicking. So I think it's the same way with Jalen Bridges. He's an experienced player. He's been through the Big 12 multiple years, but gelling with these guys and playing with Baylor and within that system is just taking some time to click, and it's clicking. He's looked great. Hopefully Caleb Loner can take a new step, and Josh Ojewuna as well. Langston Love, the bench is a key. If Baylor can continue to get really good production from their bench, then they're in terrific shape to contend for this conference.
They had a huge advantage at the free throw line. I think in the end it was 23-19 total fouls, and Arkansas fouls a lot over the year. That's also been part of the NCAA stats or whatever. But when Flagler was, 1 of 11, they were 1 for 16 from the field at one point. Regardless of all that, how important was it to win a game, like you said, when maybe not all of them were on?
Yeah, very important. One thing Baylor's, it's like death taxes and top 10 in offensive rebounding percentage. Baylor has been terrific over the years at getting offensive rebounds. And man, they've taken it to a new level once Big 12 play has started. If I remember right, I think they were maybe 13th or 14th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage, and I think they're up to number 5 or number 6. They've just done a great job getting second chances. So even on a night where they don't shoot well, Flo Thamba in particular, Caleb Loner, Jalen Bridges, their ability to tip balls, to occupy defensive rebounders and get extra possessions has been critical. And that's something they've done really well the last, 10, 12 years, and they continue to excel at that. And that's a big reason why they're winning these close games.
Ashley, you mentioned Caleb Loner there. He is someone who I think has started to figure out what his role is. I thought, like, early on, especially in the conference season, you'd come in, and it's like he thought that he had to shoot 2 all the time. And especially at the end of that Kansas State game, I don't know what got over him that he thought that should have been his deal. But he looks like now he's figured out this is my role, and he's played really valuable minutes the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I agree with that. He brings a physicality that is much needed, that we know that Jonathan Chamachachua can bring. But, he's a guy that's just, looks really impressive. When you put him out there, he's just, tough, physical, athletic, big guy. And his activity on the glass, I just noticed, even in that, limited, didn't play as much against Arkansas. But, even when he was in there, he just creates havoc inside and that physicality, just wears on other teams. So I think he's really valuable and Josh as well. Those two guys are great assets to have off the bench. And I think they're, knowing their roles and being stars in their roles are a big reason why, Baylor's won 6 in a row and why their numbers look so good. From this January 1st, I was looking at Bart Torvik. You can go back and look at teams production-wise. I think Baylor's number 8 or number 9 in the country in efficiency metrics since January 1st, which is second in the Big 12. I believe that only Kansas State is ahead of them, if I'm not mistaken. So Baylor's playing terrific basketball right now, and if they can get this win tonight, I really like their chances to end up winning the Big 12. This would be like one of those get one of the ones back at home that you should have won against either TCU or Kansas State.
Ashley, big expectations on this young man's shoulders, but what have you thought of the continued growth and ascent of Keontae George?
Yeah, I love the passion that he plays with. He just seems like he's all in on Baylor. He seems like he's trying harder on the defensive end. That's been his weakness. We knew that coming in. But I just love the toughness that he brings. He's a lot more gritty and tough than I expected. And I just think he cares a lot about winning. He cares about being a great teammate. And, just to see the passion at the end of the game against Arkansas, I saw it firsthand on the road at West Virginia. Even in games where he struggled a little bit, like Oklahoma, and the game what was the last home game, or the game after Oklahoma? I'm drawing a blank. Or no, he had 2 in a row where he struggled a bit. Maybe I can't remember the other one. But I love the fact that he's just seems like even when he's struggling from shooting and not as efficient offensively, he just wants to do anything possible to will his team to a victory. So I've been really impressed. For a freshman, just very mature. And just seems like a terrific teammate.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Kansas, the game on Monday night, Big Monday against Kansas. Because he was hot and cold in that one. So you kind of alluded to this. I just want to clarify it. If, in fact, they can somehow get to 7 straight, which will not be easy, in Austin where they've won before. Of course, names and faces change, and UT is good. If they get through this, you're not saying they're going to win 12 or 15 in a row, but do you feel like that puts them in a position because of who it's against and who they've beaten recently to be right smack in the middle of this Big 12 race all the way to the end?
Yeah, 100%. You look at the schedule after that, and, I think, arguably, if you look at the road games, you would say Texas, Iowa State, and Kansas are your toughest road games. So if you split those, obviously they lost Iowa State, then you're 6-3 at the turn, and you have a lot of the bottom teams in the conference. You have them coming to Waco. So I think, there's a high probability that Baylor will go 6-3 or 7-2 on the back end of the schedule. And I think if you get to 12 or 13 wins, you're going to win this conference. So if they can get to 6-3 at the turn, I like their chances.
Any of the Big 12 SEC Challenge results stick out to you or surprising to you?
Well, of course, the Oklahoma game was, the one that was very surprising. And I'm pretty surprised that Missouri waxed Iowa State like they did. I thought that would be a closer game. The one that I was watching that was interesting was West Virginia and Auburn. West Virginia was up maybe 15 to 17 points and almost blew that game at the end. And Eric Stevenson, who's really, a terrific player and can be real streaky, he goes to the line to ice the game. He makes the first one, so they're up 3. And then on the second free throw, he shoots it, and he starts backing up, and he calls ball game. And he misses it. And Auburn ends up getting a shot, to tie it, to put it into overtime. I bet he drives Huggins crazy. There was a game earlier in the season against Oklahoma State where he kind of grabbed his crotch after making a big three, got a technical, and then the ref that called the technical on him gave him a pretty cheap offensive foul right after that, and he ends up fouling out. And that was probably a key reason why West Virginia lost that road game. So he's kind of a knucklehead and wears his emotions on his sleeve, but he got a little bit of Marshall Henderson in him, if you remember, from Ole Miss, just kind of all over the place.
Ashley, enjoy it. Thank you very much for your time. Ashley Hodge, Baylor in Texas at Austin, 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock tip tonight. And, of course, that